When I was 10 years old, my parents actually bought me and my brother our first PC, personal computer. I still remember it was an IBM 8088 XT. So that was the moment when it actually sparked my curiosity and my love for technology. I was actually the first person in my hometown to build a website back in 1990s. Yeah. Hi, I'm Zheng Rong. I'm the Deputy Head of Technology at Provident. So I grew up in a very humble family in a small town in Malaysia. I have an elder brother and my mom and dad were both educators. So back then there was really nothing much around my hometown. When I was 10 years old, my parents actually bought me and my brother our first PC, personal computer. I still remember it was an IBM 8088 XT. You know, those that comes without any hard disk. You basically literally run the OS on the floppy disk. So my dad, I remember he bought it for about maybe $4,000 or $5,000. So that was the moment when it actually sparked my curiosity and my love for technology. And I vaguely remember when I was very young, when we first get onto the internet, I was actually the first person in my hometown to build a website back in 1990s. I pursued bachelor degree of electronics engineering, majoring in computer, where I spent 5 years in Malacca, in Malaysia. So after graduation, most of my peers actually either stayed in Malacca or they moved to Penang to become engineers. Well, for myself, I made a bold move and applied for an IT role in Singapore because I wanted to have a fresh start in a space that I truly love. So in my earlier career, I spent most of my time in a digital agency. I started off as a developer and later on progressed to lead a tech team before I took a short career break when I had 2 young kids. During that break, I had an opportunity to explore talent acquisition. I remember helping a fintech company building a tech team of close to about 20 people within a year in Singapore. And that experience itself is where I significantly developed my people management and my communication skills. And before I decided to return to do what I'm truly passionate about. And that's when I came across a job listing for a tech role at Provident. And I decided to take a leap of faith to apply, and here I am. I have to admit that it did started off as quite a lonely journey because it was basically a one-man show role for about a year or so. That's the time when I do miss working with the team because I really enjoy the human side of things, you know, bonding and mentoring. Now that we are building our own tech team at Provident, it does feel a bit different from my previous role because at Provident, there are actually more emphasis on the empathy and the connection than just hard skills. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank my mom and dad as well for their bold decision that they made more than 30 years ago. And it was because my earlier exposure to computers as a child significantly shaped who I am. And it's actually a key reason why I excel in my role today. Having witnessed the profound evolution of technology firsthand, from the day when, you know, the floppy disk days and the CDs to the widespread adoption of the internet, and now we are into the era of cloud computing and AI, I do have a very deep-seated understanding that change isn't just a trend in technology, but it's actually the only constant. And so this personal journey through technological shifts has actually fundamentally shaped my approach to leadership and my effectiveness in my current role. At Provident, culture keeps me grounded because building a team in Provident is not a one-man job. In my previous work, it was actually mainly the team leader's drive to bond with the team. However, at Provident, it is actually a company-wide effort. There's a shared ownership of culture at Provident. So even though if I don't spend enough time with someone, the other colleagues will actually step in. So at Provident, the leaders actually practice what we preach. We do see values like transparency and integrity in action. And that sort of aligns with my ikigai because I believe in spending my energy at the right place. And at Provident, everyone has the same mission, which is doing the right thing for our clients.